Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cozy Convos. Shockingly enough, we were able to get together to record this video, so procrastination did not get in the way. So before we begin, I just want to direct you guys to our Instagram page where you can get information on mental health Kenya and Kenyans for Kenya. So basically, on the highlights for mental health, you can be directed to a suicide hotline or an email where you can be able to communicate with these guys and talk through your problems. Then there's also Kenyans for Kenya, where we deal with keeping you up to date and educated on police brutality within the country. Also for Amnesty in Kenya, which deals with people who have been displaced or dealing with human trafficking or property damage where the government isn't really coming in to help these people. So the links and pictures and everything that will pages, thank you, that will can direct you to places where you can donate to help these foundations with human trafficking, displacement, hunger, and all the multiple things that affect us as Kenyans. So yeah, intro. Yeah, so Kicks, what man?
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm okay. I have to change my views on a couple of things from the last video, but I'm okay.
It seems like it's a pink day for us today.
Yeah, matching. On Wednesdays we wear pink. Yeah, no.
The painting to the back of pink. It's really cute.
We have to match. It's a necessity.
It is. So, as people know, our last video we talked about the entanglement, as we now know it to be. So she came out and said that she was in an entanglement with this guy, August Alsina. As you said, you don't rate people, Cakes.
I rarely rate people. I don't rate myself after that video. Now I am part of the people I don't rate. I mean, in the last video, I was with August Alsina 100%. But when I learned the situation, I started to feel that we do this thing where we choose sides before knowing the full story. And I'm very big on that. I can't even, that's like one of my biggest issues with myself. I already assume that this will be my opinion. And then something happens and then I'm left thinking, is that really your opinion? Are you sure it can't change? And that's why I always believe it's a possibility for people to change, because now my opinion is, it's wild. This guy released a whole song and I cannot understand why.
Yeah.
And like I told you, Rick Ross had faced some fire for being part of the release of that song. And I can understand why. But here's my thing. I think that he's running with a narrative, right? And everyone is allowed to do that because it's your personal experience at the end of the day. But now Rick Ross has been put in a situation where guys are like, you're advocating for this? Can you explain to us why?
Yeah.
And he went on in a video and said, listen, guys, I understand the complication behind it, but you also have to remember that this guy is an artist. So for him, it was from a position of, the guy makes good music. I'm going to make a song with you. It had nothing to do with anything else. But it's not that simple at the end of the day. So I don't know.
You saw an opportunity to secure the bag. And as we spoke in the last video, most people are more focused on securing the bag than actually making a change in the world, So, to him, it was a high opportunity to that song has been listened to by enough people, including me, just because.
Yeah, I listened to it yesterday. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's not that good of a song, but I listened to it because it's about the entanglement. He saw the opportunity. Can't really blame him for trying to secure the bag. He's been struggling as an artist. So
I think during this time, if you can secure the bag in any way, I think you can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. So for me, I'm just like, I don't know, because I asked someone, how did it become our business? Like at the end of the day, how important is it? But I guess it is, because if we're still talking about it.
Then there must be some importance to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's strange that of all the things like could have come out, is like this guy is talking about him and Jada. It's like it's so impromptu. It's like I don't know, so left. But in the last video, we talked about something to do with the image on Black people and the families, and this word wholesome. So I was recently asked by a friend, what it means to be like a wholesome family. Now, I haven't been able to reply to her yet because I've been thinking about it quite a bit, and it's a really good question, because she means like in a traditional sense, marriage is between two people, and they get kids and they build a family, and basically now they can be claimed as a wholesome family. If I get the definition, wholesome, I believe it was give me 1 second. Conducive to or suggestive of good health and physical well-being. There's a secondary definition that says conducive to or characterized by moral well-being. So if we're talking about morals, morals are defined by society, or a lot of morals are defined by society as what's good morals and what's bad morals.
Yeah.
So with society, if you take the popular vote, it's that marriage, true marriage should be between a man and a woman. And with that, them having children will now lead to having a wholesome family with good morals. But with the first definition, where it's about good health and well-being, does that mean that if I'm like a single parent, I can't be a wholesome family with my kids?
This is my thing, right? So I honestly think that those kind of traditions are less relevant to the seriousness of a family. I look at it as, if a single mother can take care of a family, then that's about it, So for wholesome, to me, would be more, even if it's of the same sex or if it's a single parent, how are you bringing up your family? What traditions bind your family? What experiences bind your family to make a wholesome family, right? And this is my issue with that question. Wholesome can sometimes be warped because, as I said before, Black Twitter will try and sway things to suit the situation. So for me, it's more, is it a family that works? Because the thing, I always tell people, we'll always talk from the outside looking in. What your family considers wholesome is not the same to mine. Traditions are built in a home, right?
Yeah.
So we cannot sit here and say that maybe those 5 years they were separated were not wholesome, because the parents lived in the home together. If we're going to talk about it in traditional sense, they may have separated, but they were still under one roof. So it's not the same as a parent leaves and you have weekend rights. So I don't know if it is necessarily the traditional sense of wholesome, but I feel like whatever works for you works for you.
So it's the word wholesome that's generally the issue, because that word allows someone who's outside the family to define what your family is.
Yeah.
Because you can say, I came from a wholesome family. I mean, other people tell you came from a wholesome family. So probably it's about who has the right to use the word. I mean, I don't like saying such things.
Yeah, but like the problem with the English language or understanding of language is we will sit here and say this is the definition, so this is what it should be. But outside of that, something else could work for you, and you personally will still consider that wholesome, because we have friends who have had single parents. They come out fine,
Yeah.
So I guess in the traditional sense, maybe they considered their family wholesome until they found out things that did not necessarily please them with the idea of what a traditional or wholesome family should be.
Family is, yeah.
Yeah,
True.
that's how I feel.
Easy. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about today is statute of limitations. And if I believe you know what the statute of limitations is, it's like once a crime is committed, there's a certain amount of time that passes, and like you're no longer what's the word, chargeable to the crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to relate this towards tweeting. So earlier you said that people do change and opinions do change.
Mm-hmm.
So if let's say I'm 25 right now, so let's
Yeah.
say I was 15, that's 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I posted something that's a bit, let's say, offensive to a certain religion or race.
Mm-hmm.
And then now 10 years later, I've been made to be held accountable for what I said. Now that's fine. You can hold me like accountable and I'll apologize. But that tweet shouldn't define who I am right now. You know, because within those 10 years I could have grown. There's definitely growth within those 10 years. And I could have grown from a point of view where I realized that maybe I was being offensive to these guys and I've changed my ways.
Mm-hmm.
But incidentally, I forgot that I tweeted about such a thing because it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not on socials, but I believe people tweet things daily. So you'd forget if you tweeted something 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to talk about this character on the TV show Flash, a CW TV show.
Mm-hmm.
On the TV show, his name is Ralph Dibny, but his real name is, it escapes me. I think it's Hardly Sawyer.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So
yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, so he was fired from the show for some tweets he wrote about, I think also 10 years ago, just like my example. Now I'm not saying that the tweets he wrote weren't offensive or misogynistic, but it's the fact, yes, we've held him accountable, but does that mean we should ruin a whole man's livelihood because of a few things he said?
This is how I feel about it, right? So I even told you, let's even move it away from famous people. There was a lady who tweeted something about coming to Africa. And in fact, she says in the tweet, going to Africa, I hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding, I'm white. Don't you think that of course, I believe it is offensive, especially because I'm African, first. Secondly, because she thinks her privilege will stop her from getting a sickness, and stigmatizing the sickness also. Here's my thing though with tweets. As I said before, opinions change, but this is where I say that's the only way cancel culture will work. If you take the bag away. It's all talk until you lose money. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And that's why I say all the time, if someone tweets something, I agree they could change. Just the same way Kevin Hart went back and apologized after being dropped by the Oscars. Here's my issue. If it didn't come to light, would he have ever apologized?
That's the truth. I don't think he would have.
It's the same thing with Ralph Dick.
I don't think he would have.
Yeah. It's the same thing. So I feel like you might not remember the tweet, but you know what you said. So it's like now you're caught in the act. You're gonna have to apologize. You're in a situation where now, oh my gosh, they caught me. So now I'm gonna do a post with hashtag Black Lives Matter or hashtag Me Too movement because you've been caught in the act. Why is it that we're not apologizing before the fact? And that's why I'm saying the only way cancel culture will ever work is if you remove the bag from the equation. Then you're forced to change. That's my opinion on the situation.
So what level of bag removal or like punishment be worth the while? Because I mean, For Ralph Dimi, yes. I mean, okay, he got fired from the show just
Mm-hmm.
because of his ignorance with his tweets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Hart got put down as hosting the
The Oscars, yeah.
Oscars, but I mean, he still released Jumanji 2. He still goes on shows around touring with his comedies.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, fine, yeah, you embarrassed him and we shamed him, like, to acknowledge his faults by removing him from the Oscars. But I mean, that's just one moment in his life.
Mm-hmm.
To someone like Hardy Sawyer, I mean, there was no record of like proper work for him before joining the
Yeah.
Flash.
Yeah.
And now him being removed from the Flash has completely like wrecked any opportunity for him to get any work anywhere else.
I understand that, but I guess maybe people are not told. Let me give you an example. When I joined social media, I was told by my parents, the internet never forgets.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So by the time you are deciding to put up, whether it's, let's just call them bad tweets, period, that's what they are, you must always be ready to face the repercussions. And it's sad to say people are losing their jobs. I mean, I saw one where primary school teacher in the US lost her job for an anti-Semitic tweet. But realistically, if you're not held accountable, you will continue to do these things. I don't know how long you should be punished for or how much you should be punished, but without punishment, you'll just continue to do it and your ideologies will continue to spread because you have a following. So is it fair to the people you're discriminating against? No. So that's just how I feel. I don't know what the process should be because a lot of big TV stations and all of these are now having PR people who check your tweets, check your Facebook. You see, these are jobs that were not there before, but they have to be created because people are getting big positions, are securing bags in institutions where that institution might not agree with your ideas. But now we have to fight back as an institution because we are also being held accountable. And that's what people need to understand, I think. I understand that you might have made a mistake. Like, I think a lot of maybe our older viewers have watched the Roseanne Barr show. But if you look at her tweets, she would talk badly about Obama, about the wife, and they were considered racist. So now maybe 10 years ago, people were not sensitized to the fact that a tweet could make a difference, right?
Yeah.
But today, if we are going to sit here and allow our kids to watch shows, and then the next day you find out this person doesn't really like Black people or people from somebody's community, you're not going to be comfortable with it. So I think it is a necessary move, and I think most institutions should have people to check these things. But I feel like now it will also push people down. You know, your views will remain in the cupboard until we're in a workplace, and then there'll be that form of discrimination. So I think it's a gray area, in my opinion, because if people don't tweet them, they'll WhatsApp them. They'll never come to light until one day when someone is just like, you know what? I'm not with these people, so I'm going to share it because I feel this is not right.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we can get around it, but I do feel it's necessary. And that's the only way for me, I believe cancel culture would work.
That's true. I agree with you. It is necessary for these guys to be held accountable because, like you said, if we didn't, then they would continue doing what they're doing. So the issue, like you said, is cancel culture is that we need consistency. In fact, if we're canceling someone, then we need to take it to the fact that cancel means canceling, like giving this guy the bag. Cancel doesn't mean, oh, okay, fine, I'm not going to watch his next movie, but let's see if he removes a book, I'm going to read the book. So it needs to be a way, if people are going to be held accountable, then they need everybody to be consistent in the way they're going to hold these people accountable.
And also the people who say they're going to change need to show the consistency of change. Yeah. Because you see, it's just the same way today we can sit here and say, okay, we'll give Ralph Digny a pass. And then in a couple of years, he posts another bad post. And then we sit there and we say, oh no, but we gave him a pass. That's the issue with the cycle. So I don't know. But I think it has to happen to everybody along all. It should be a leveled playing
Forms of
field.
media, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
not
like
only
what
media,
reference up,
because yeah.
oh sorry, what gonna reference up is like what we were talking about, I think was it yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
how like I'm a hypocrite because like I like Nike, but
Mm-hmm.
in essence these big brands have
There are
made very
sweatshops.
remarks, sweatshops, and also semantic remarks regarding like Ralph Lauren. He
Mm-hmm.
said he doesn't understand why black people buy his clothes
Yeah.
because he didn't make them for black people. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's Gucci who released that turtleneck sweater with the big lips, and people like came out and started blasting them. But then a month later, people are still rocking Gucci. I mean, Gucci
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
actually is bought by a whole lot of black people.
Yeah.
So there's a need for us to be consistent in our cancel culture if it's
I
actually
think
gonna
we
work.
do a lot of half-baked things, and that's the issue. So you can say, yeah, today I'm not gonna buy that album on Apple Music, but you're still gonna use their songs on Instagram for a video.
Yeah,
So they're still securing the bag in one way or another, and that's the most problematic thing about it. So I think consistency is important, but there must also be space for forgiveness for us to move on. Yeah, I think.
definitely.
Mm.
Um,
I
so
have a question.
uh-huh.
So the other day I was talking to someone and they asked me a question. And it was, who teaches you what a friend is? The world or your parents? What do you think?
Hmm. I think a bit of both
Mm-hmm.
in different stages of your life.
Okay.
Obviously, when you're a kid, you don't you can't pick your friend as a kid. So,
Mm-hmm.
or someone's brought you to the house, or you take it to someone's house to go play,
Yeah.
and then that eventually becomes your first friend. But like for me, it was my cousin, so
Mm-hmm.
we'd always be grouped together when we were kids. So you became my first friend until
Mm-hmm.
now we're in school. So in school, I got to choose my friends.
Yeah.
Now, where my parents came in is when I would talk about my friends or bring my friends over, and then
Mm-hmm.
now they'd have an opinion and be like, "That's not a good friend for you. That guy is just gonna bring you down a bad path." All
Mm-hmm.
of us, well, I always had an issue with the fact that your parents will say, "Oh, those guys could lead you down a bad path," and like in my head, I always thought, "What if I'm the one who's leading them
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
the bad path?"
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I got to choose my friends at school, but like the friends that when I was a young age that I got to keep were determined mainly by my parents because if your parent didn't like you, then you can't come to my house, and I can't go to your house. So our friendship will be very restricted to just school.
Mm-hmm.
You reach a stage in your life where you're like, you can know when someone is bringing you down, when
Yeah.
someone's bringing you up. So at that point, you don't rely too much on your parents telling you, "Oh, this is a good friend for you," or "This is a
Mm-hmm.
good," or "This is a bad friend for you." You end up choosing that based off your self-reflection and realizing these are the people who are bringing me up, and these are
Mm-hmm.
the people who are bringing me down. So I feel like it's a bit of both when it comes to picking friends,
Mm-hmm.
and it works in different stages in your life.
So you think it's developmental to a certain extent?
It is because I mean, there's so many people who I thought like who are my best friends, we're gonna be friends forever. Then like I left high school and I don't even see them anymore.
But do you think you base it more off of the fact that when you get older and you understand like your parents' friendships, do you sometimes look at your parents' friendships and you're like, I don't want a friend like that? So now you decide along those lines because I mean, I agree with you. When it comes, I think it's very developmental, but to a certain extent, you still also get to choose your friends when you're younger. For instance, on the playground, you look at the people. The thing is, I think it starts at a very young age, of course. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning, it starts with who are your parents, friends, kids, if you're in the same age bracket, or your cousins are always around, so those are your first friends. I have friends who I've had from primary. So I can give you an example. Kindergarten, actually. I have a friend who we became friends first in kindergarten. Then we found out our parents were friends through that, right? But we've been friends surpassing that, you see. So I made the decision to make her my friend when we were in kindergarten, and it slowly developed into something else. Why I'm asking this question is because I don't know when the definition of friendship changed. I look at like people nowadays and I see the toxicity of a friendship, and I ask people what told you this is the right type of person that you should have in your life, you know? So I'm trying to understand it better because I have very few friends. People know that. And I'm very grateful for the few friends I have because I feel like they're positive role models in my life, and the ones who are not, I have learned to remove. But majority of them, the negative ones, my mom has told me this person is not good for you. That's why I'm asking, who affects what a friend is to you? Because your parents will, majority of the time, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but your mom will tell you, "Aye, that one."
Yeah, not for you. Yeah.
And you say, "No, I'm a grown up.
No,
Pick my own friends."
Yeah.
But then you look down the line and you're like, maybe I should have dropped them when I was warned, you know? So I don't know.
See, when you're young, you're more likely, let's say preteen,
Mm-hmm.
you're more likely to be inclined to be like, if your mom tells you this is a good friend for you, you're more likely to listen to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's this adolescent age where we reach where we're like, we want to rebel and we'll be like, nah, I know this person.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I can attest to that there's a lot of people who are like, my parents have told me this is not a good friend for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, I know this guy.
You're just hating.
Yeah, you're just hating on him, and like you don't know him well enough. Like, I know him so well.
He's my friend.
He's my friend.
Yeah.
So turns out like later in life, like this guy genuinely wasn't a progressive person.
Mm-hmm.
It's who like my uncle, like what he likes to say is a recessive person.
Mm-hmm.
There's something my uncle asked me once, like when I was a kid, and he says like down to life, there's only two questions that you have to ask. Is whether you want to be part of the solution or part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It says when it comes to be your friends, you have to realize what are their ideologies. Do they want to be part of a solution or a problem? Mm-hmm. So when your parents come to choosing your friends, definitely you do get like a lot of influence from your parents, especially when it comes to like us in Kenya with tribes. Like if you're part of like a certain tribe, then even you'll be inclined to be like, I can't be friends with that tribe, or a certain race. Your parents don't like this race, then even you'll be back from it. It does happen.
I think it happens a lot in Africa because, I mean, when I went to SA, majority of my friends were Caucasian, and it was not because I selected them personally, like, I only want to associate with these people. It was because we were only 4 Black people, right? So you're put in a situation where now when you go to public areas, people are asking you, why are you with them? You don't have any Black friends. And forgetting you're a foreigner, these are the first people you interacted with. These are the people you feel the most comfortable with. I might not talk to them every day, but I've never been in a position where I'm going to select a friend by racial lines, tribal lines. But maybe that's because, as I said, my parents never brought me up like that. That's why I'm saying I think the two play a part, right? Yeah. So you choose, but your parents have also instilled some things in you where you might sit back and be like, can't bring this one home because they're this tribe. They can be your friend, but it's like a hidden friend. You know, when people are coming to your house, you don't bring this one because your parents could be like, why this one?
Why this one? True.
Because that also happens even across like lines of sexuality, right? I have a lot of friends who are part of the LGBTQ community, and I personally feel comfortable to bring them home because my parents don't discriminate, right? But there are those people who could have those friends and can't bring them home because your parents would be like, why does that one behave like that, you know? So where do you also put your foot down? That's the question with your parents in those type of situations.
Okay, see, when you said how in today's society the word friend has been diluted,
Mm-hmm.
it's true because a lot of people who say they're friends with this person, it's not really a friend, it's more of an acquaintance,
Mm-hmm.
or because you're around the same social circles, you feel like,
Yeah.
oh, this person is my friend. But that's not your friend. Generally, that's
Mm-hmm.
an acquaintance. So to be able to bridge a gap between how you know when to stand up to your parents about your friend is, at the end of the day, you have to realize, are you generally friends with this person?
Yeah.
Meaning you can be friends with them, but they don't consider you their friend. That's
True.
something you can
That's also something that's very
yeah,
important. You need to know
yeah,
where you stand with these people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then from there, you move back now to your parents. Now, are your parents rejecting this person because of their qualities as a person, or because of their characteristics, or because of their background?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's due to their background, then that's just ignorance.
Mm.
But if it's characteristics or personality, then it's something they're picking up on that they feel like it's not. But if
Yeah.
it's because of their background, then your parents are just being ignorant at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, him being gay doesn't mean he's gonna be
Bad
like
friend. I
bring me
mean,
down,
yeah.
or him being a Muslim isn't him now. I'm now all of a sudden gonna join terrorist groups. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
work like that.
Mm.
You need to give these people the respect that they deserve.
Yeah.
So if it's down to background, then your parents are just being ignorant,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when now you can now put your foot down and be like, look, this is my friend.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to be friends with him. I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking you to trust me to know that this is my friend, and
Yeah.
you're not gonna bring me down in any way.
Mm-hmm. I agree because I think what your uncle told you is right. You just have to know, is this person going to help you progress or regress also in life generally? Because I've sat in forums where I feel like, these guys are lying to each other. Like, have you ever sat somewhere and you're just like, why are you guys friends? Is it a
Friends, yeah.
competition? But someone told me the other day, I think our definition of friendships or friends in general would vary from person to person, right?
Yeah.
So you might sit there and say it's a competition, but this person feels if I'm competing with this person, then we are both prospering,
Yeah.
or progressing. Because let's say if we're both doctors, right? GPs, and you say no, but I want to be a neurosurgeon, and I say, okay, Basha said this. So now even me, I'm going to push myself. So I don't know. I think people must just sit down and decide for themselves first, but also look at your surroundings, right? From what your parents have taught you, you need to be able to decide, is this a real friend? Is this a friend? Because I also have learned recently that there are certain conversations that you should not have with certain friends. And it's just like, it is what it is. I mean, for instance, religion, politics, money, three things that will always end up one way or the other. So you
Yeah.
just need to choose. That's how I
Yeah.
feel. Choose
It's part
wisely.
of acceptance. I mean, your friend is triggered easily by certain words or certain things, so of course you'd
Mm-hmm.
avoid.
Yeah.
It's just part of being of the friendship, and that's how you know you're a true friend. If someone can accept you for you and now avoid what makes you mad, then that's someone who's allowing to, like, what's the word?
How far are you
Compensate.
willing to go with that, though?
Yeah. I mean,
If your friend
it
was
depends.
KKK, but he's a good friend to you, would you stay?
If he was in the KKK,
Mm-hmm.
he's a friend with me.
Yeah.
Um,
You're the
it depends.
trophy black friend, for instance.
It depends on how deep in the KKK he is, because if
Ah,
there's a
okay.
window of opportunity to allow for knowledge to
Mm-hmm.
enter this man and for him to be able to progress
Yeah.
and get out of the KKK, then I won't stop being friends with him, because at the end of the day, I mean, if I choose to be friends with him and he's friends with me, then I have to stick up with him. I know he's at fault, obviously. The KKK isn't right. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure part of him realizes that maybe, I'm hoping rather, because I wouldn't be
Yeah.
friends with him
It's
if
wishful
part of him
thinking.
didn't realize, yeah. Because, like, if I was friends with him, definitely I'd have to know if he realized that what he was doing wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe it's due to background that's forced him to be
Yeah,
part of
of
the
course.
KKK.
That could be a
But
deciding factor.
if he believes that black people are whatever the KKK believe, I don't know, evil or dirty, or I don't know what to believe, but if he generally believes that, then I can't be friends with him. That's just
That's a
idiot.
time to
Being an
exit.
idiot, you know. I'm being the fool there, obviously.
Yeah.
But if there's an opportunity for me to educate him and move him away from that, or her away from that,
Yeah.
then definitely I'll stick up to them. For them, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my homie.
Okay, so I guess we'll end it there today.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe.
And follow us on Instagram. Link below.
Here.